have a friend named Peter, and he and I went to elementary school together. And his older brother passed away a couple of months ago, and they are having a memorial service. And he invited me. And very often in these situations, I'll take the out saying, I'd love to be there, but it's so far away. So it's going to be in Clinton, Connecticut, which is near the shore. I decided to go because I haven't seen him in a couple of years. He's one of my favorite people. And I thought to myself, okay, so it's a solemn moment, and yet it's celebrating his brother's life, Paul. And you still can have like a couple of days to do some stuff, your nostalgia stuff. So I have made a list of places after the service and before the service that I would like to eat. And you know how I love seafood shacks, right? So here, I'm not going to get to all of these, but I'm going to choose like 2 or 3 of them. There's the Clam Castle, which is in Madison, the Guilford Lobster Pound, Lenny and Joe's Fishtail. My mouth is watering. Ford's Lobster Shack, which is in Noank, Connecticut. Do you know how Noank got its name?
Because it didn't have an ank? Was it ankless?
No
It
anchor?
became no ank?
It was,
Yeah.
well, that was the joke. The Pilgrims were coming over, and the Native Americans met them, and the Native Americans said, please come off of your boat and join us in a feast. And they said, no ank. All right. It's a Connecticut thing. And then the other one is the Fishtail restaurant in Madison. So I am going to go to probably 3 of those, and I'm going to go to the Clam Castle because they've got full belly clams, the really juicy full belly clams in like a hot dog roll. And I know it's a cholesterol bomb, but I'm going to get it anyway. And I was looking at these places, and I was thinking, if I hadn't discovered this scam that I've been making a living at most of my life, I don't know what I would have done, because I just don't see myself in a regular job in an
working.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say?
That whole working
Working.
thing.
Yeah. Just don't see that for
Actual
yourself.
working, yeah. I understand.
Jeez.
Phew.
So I would have to do something, though. And the only thing I could come up with would be to like have my own clam shack. If somehow I could raise the money, to build a rudimentary sort of building.
No, Bob.
I grew up in the restaurant business, right?
But you
And
live
so-
in a time when you don't have to have a building. You could have a truck. You could be
Yeah, I
Big Bobby's
could have a
Clam
truck.
Wagon.
Yeah. But
We could call
originally,
you the Clam
Yeah.
Daddy. Yeah.
Clam
Yeah.
Daddy.
Clam
Yeah.
Daddies.
Clam Daddy.
I like that.
Clam Daddy.
yeah,
And your food truck.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clam Daddy.
Well, here's what I thought. I thought maybe the truck event, they didn't have it when I was a kid. Trucks like that, they did not exist. But maybe a shack, and I would call it Bobby's Clam Shack. And then you know how I like to relate to the youth, right? So you want to bring the youth in, so you get the youth money. I would say I'd have a sign out there, Bobby's Clam Shack. Come on in and get your clam on. What do you think?
I would cut that down to get your clam on. Because get your clam on a t-shirt or bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that work?
But I would also change the name to Clam Daddy. Get your clam on.
That's my name is not in there. I want my name to be in
Your
there.
name doesn't need to be
your name is Clam
everywhere.
Daddy. Now
You're
your name
Clam
is
Daddy.
Clam Daddy. You're Clam
Yeah.
Daddy. You no longer go by anything other than Clam Daddy. That's
Clam
it.
Daddy. Get your clam on.
Clam Daddy.
Yeah.
Clam
Why
on.
do you need your name? Why do you need your name everywhere? You have had your name on your job for your whole adult life. Can you rest
I guess
it
I'm
and be
just
Clam
used to
Daddy?
it.
Because he's got to have credit. He's got to have
Oh,
credit.
he does have to have credit.
Well, pardon me for having my name on the show. What am I supposed to do? It's time for and Sheri. I have to have my name on the show.
Think how much more popular this show would be if it was Clam Daddy and Sheri.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
you're
saying.
right. Oh, I wish you hadn't even said
You're listening
that.
to Clam Daddy and Sheri.
Instant access to the podcast, and fun side. Just download the free Bob and Sheri app.
Lamar and I went to a conference, and we went with Tony, and it was just the 3 of us. It was such a short cross country trip that we decided we would
Fast.
spare everybody
Very
else.
fast.
And one of the things that happened at this conference was we were asked to come into this room, and they were going to roll video and ask us a bunch of questions. And it turned out that the questions, when I saw them, well, the questions made me realize that apparently everyone else in the world is having so much more fun than I am. Because my life basically is I work, I clean, I cry, I sleep, I work, I clean, I cry, I sleep. This is like my whole life right now. And the questions are, well, let's run through them. First, they wanted our favorite barbecue tips, which as I sat there, I thought, well, I don't have any barbecue tips, much
Lamar
less
can
favorite
take
barbecue.
that one. Lamar is great at a barbecue.
Yeah. That wasn't a hard. That was for me. It was the easiest question they asked. The rest of them made no sense to me.
Then they asked Lamar, what's your favorite dance move and can you demonstrate it? On camera.
Oh no!
He had a priceless answer.
Don't do that.
Here's my answer. With as stone cold a face as possible, I said, my mother died in a tragic dancing accident. It was horrific, and I do not dance to anything. And I just closed my eyes.
That could work if you don't say accident. Though my mother died while dancing. It could have been a lot of different things, right?
No, yes.
And you've never been at
That was not what they were looking for. That
people.
was not what they were looking for.
Probably not. No.
And then they asked some questions about the Super Bowl. Have you ever been? No. This was me. No, I've never been. How do you throw a great Super Bowl party? No, I don't know. I've never thrown a Super Bowl party. I only go to Super Bowl parties.
Who are these people, by the way? Who, tell us again who these people are that are asking these questions.
It's a group we work with. It's a group we work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Then
right.
they wanted
This is their idea of marketing. It's their idea of marketing, I guess.
Okay. All right.
Then they asked Lamar what his favorite gardening project was.
I said, I cut the grass, and I cut it as low as possible on the hottest day I can find so that it will not grow back for a couple of weeks.
That's pretty good, actually.
Then they asked me, what's your favorite baseball team? Oh, everybody knows I'm a sports girl. You betcha. The Bad News Bears? Is that an answer? Like, I don't have a favorite baseball team. Then they wanted to know about our pets. And then they asked me what I was doing to reduce my carbon footprint. And at that point, I didn't have the heart to say, I find that by seldom leaving the house, I'm really cutting back on my fossil fuel consumption.
That's true,
I mean,
too.
it was just it. Oh, and what's your favorite summer anthem? By the way, does anybody in this room have a favorite summer anthem? Like when it comes on, you just pump up the jams. Absolute stone cold favorite summer anthem. Anyone?
No, I mean, there are a lot of songs. If I'm in the car and a song comes on and it's, I'm in a good mood and I love that song, you might pump that up a little bit. But there's not just one.
Exactly. Like there's a handful of summer songs that we all love. I mean, but like a favorite, Wait, is that yellow polka dot bikini? Pump up the jam. Like who has a favorite summer anthem?
It's the stuff we wouldn't, couldn't, shouldn't do on the regular show. The Oddcast on the free Bob and Sheri app.
We are so excited to be heading to Margaritaville Beach Resort in Fort Myers with all of our grand prize winners in our Celebrate Teachers contest it's been going on the entire school year. And joining us right now is one of those winners. We were so blown away by your entry. Heather Mannheim, welcome to the Bob and Sheri Show.
Hey, Heather, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good morning.
So tell us, because your what you wrote in your entry was just so incredible. Give us like a typical day for you in your gig.
Oh gosh, it can change every day because sometimes kids might not show up or they might be running late. But generally, I get at work at 6:30 and I do a pre-trip of the bus, and then I leave the yard at 7 a.m. and I pick up my first students, and then I pick up a few more stops, and then all the buses meet at a transfer spot, and some of the kids get off my bus and other ones get on. And then I take them to school. And, I just try to make it a good day, a good start for all of them. I try to greet them by name and ask them how they're doing. If it's Monday, if they had a good weekend, that kind of thing.
That's the
so
thing, though.
sweet.
You're so
Yeah.
engaged with each of these kids, and it would be so easy to just stare ahead at the road and open and close the door. Like, what? I mean, that must just be who you are as a person, right? What inspired you to go so far above and beyond as a school bus driver that you're so connected with these kids?
I think a lot of it has to do with I felt very invisible at school. I was very shy, and I just didn't feel like there was a lot of people that could take the time to see how I was doing. And I found out quickly as I became a driver, especially the kids in the front row really want to talk to you. And, I understand a teacher can't always do that in the classroom. So I just started talking to them, and I found out that they just opened up this whole world to me, things that they were thinking about, and they're so funny. And, sometimes they're scared about certain things. And I just felt like, well, if I can help them, this is part of their day. This is part of their education. And, why not take care of them how I maybe had wanted to be taken care of.
That's
What
so
surprised
interesting.
you? What surprised you when a child engaged you in a conversation? What was a moment
It's kind of funny. One of the first boys I ever had on my bus,
uh-huh.
he was kind of a little bit of a misbehavior. So I would sit him up in the front and ask him like what was going on. And I found out that, he came from a family with like 9 kids. They worked and lived on a farm. He had to get up really early and help his family with the farm work before going to school. And then when he got home, it was homework and then more farm work. And I just was like, oh, that's probably why. He just needs a little bit of extra attention. And he was the first kid that kind of made me realize that. And then when I had a field trip with his class, and his teacher said, I hope he doesn't cause you too many problems. I said, you know what? He's actually excellent on the bus. He's wonderful for me. And the teacher's like, what? He couldn't believe that this kid could actually be well behaved.
Yeah,
and I think
you felt that his life was really pretty stressful for
Yes.
for a young person like that.
Yes. And he loved to make these little noises on the bus. And I just remember one day I told him, you know what you would be really good at is doing voices for cartoons, making all the little noises. And he was so unbelievably shocked that I think somebody, one, said he would be good at something. And
Yeah.
number two, gave him an idea of something that he might be able to do when he was a grown up.
And something fun. Yeah, that's fantastic. Good for you.
Fun. Yeah.
It's always interesting to see how the people that are tenderhearted and see things like that are the people that themselves were not seen. That's so often true in life. And how lucky those kids on your bus are. Do they call you Miss Heather? Like, what are they? Did you tell them that you won a trip and that you're going to Florida? Like, did they know?
Oh yeah. I told a few of them and they were so excited. They were cheering. They were really excited. They mostly call me Miss Heather. I do have quite a few special need kids. So some of them will just call me bus driver, which is fine.
What do you estimate the number of kids you come in contact with on a daily basis?
Oh, probably in the morning, it's usually around 25 to 30. And then in the afternoon, it's usually like 40 to 45.
Wow.
That is something.
It's such an awesome responsibility for being the first person to greet them on their school day and the last person to say, hey, y'all have a great afternoon. It's really
That's right.
important.
See you tomorrow.
It's a very important job.
Yeah.
Real stability there.
It's Bob and Sheri.
My kids, Landon and Allie, took Mary and I out for a wonderful steak dinner. It was fantastic, and they paid for it. And I'm not saying it's the first time, but on one hand, I can count. And I was very excited about it. Mary drove, and she said, "I have a secret parking place that nobody knows about." near the restaurant, which is a very popular restaurant. It was in Charleston where my girls live. And I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yeah, you just go in there and just tell them that we're here. Place is packed. It's a place called Halls, and it's famous." And so she's parking. The girls are not there, and I went up to the bar, and I said, "You know what? I'll get a glass of wine, and I don't know what she wants, and I'll order," because there was one seat available. Immediately, the bartender comes over, very friendly guy, and he said, "What can I get for you?" And I said, "I just want a glass of a cab. And what kind of cabs do you have?" And it was very loud, and he was telling me about names that I'd never heard of. I thought he said J-Lore, which was a medium-priced wine, but he said something else. It was J something else. And Mary comes in, and it was a weak pour, by the way. It was a weak pour. Mary comes in. She says, "Okay, are we ready to sit down?" I said, "Yeah, let me settle with this guy." I said, "Let me settle with you." I looked down, and it was $38 for a weak pour. So if you add the tip, you're in the 40s for about 3 sips of wine. And I went, "I am not believing this." She said, "What did you order?" I said, "I think I ordered." "Oh, no, you didn't order that. You ordered," and she told me whatever the wine is. She knows more about wine than I do. That's all I could think about the rest of the night. As much fun as we had, that's all I could think about was having thrown away that much money on a glass of wine. That's a night out for me a few years ago. $42. That's dinner for two a few years ago. What has happened?
That is, well, so I was Kevin and I. We don't go out a lot. We really just don't. We're very much homebodies. But me, Kevin, and Karamia went out for dinner, and it was kind of like a sports bar kind of a situation. It was not fancy. It's just you need to understand that this was a sports bar. There were a million TVs. There was, I don't know, some kind of sporty thing going on. Like the menu was like, chicken wings, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin ordered a beer, and Karamia ordered an iced tea. And I looked at the wine menu, and I'm like, this is $24 for a glass of wine. Bring me the entire bottle, please. There's no way I'm paying $24. So Kevin's not paying attention as I'm going through this, and the drinks come back, and there's an iced tea for Karamia, there's a beer for Kevin, an entire bottle gets put in front of me. Kevin goes, "It was a day?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was a day." but when you calculate, like if you're going to charge me $24 for the glass, I'm just going to have to buy the entire bottle and take it home. That's insane. That is insane.
No, I'm not busting on the restaurant. It's one of the most famous restaurants in a town that's famous for restaurants, and it was wonderful. Dinner was wonderful and all, and it's my mistake.
You can still kind of bust.
It was my mistake.